Hey guys, what's up? It's Connor from Dragon Rider Network, and I'm here today to give my thoughts on Apple's brand new video editing software, Final Cut Pro 10, which they released a little over a week ago, and I was fortunate enough to get my hands on it last Friday in order to give it all the tests I needed, do video editing from it, and I have to tell you, it was a ton of fun, and I can't wait to share my thoughts with you now in this video. So anyway, let's get started. So anyway, what is it that I liked about the new Final Cut Pro 10? Well, first of all, it would definitely have to be the brand new UI that Apple successfully installed in the new software version. It definitely brought a lot of the looks that came from iMovie over to Final Cut, and it definitely did a very great job at it while still retaining many of Final Cut Pro's features in a very great way and very sleek design. Another thing that I really like about the new Final Cut Pro is the fact that we can now have background task support. For background rendering, this is a huge deal, not just to me, but to a whole lot of people who have spent hours rendering their projects over and over again. It takes a long amount of time, it's just a pain in the butt, and it was a really great pleasure just to have all of that lifted and now to just not render anymore and just go on continuing editing your project until it's finished and then export. It's a great feeling. And there's now specific applications for actually exporting, which in my opinion is definitely a whole lot better than what was offered in iMovie, because now you actually get to see what percentage everything is at and how long it's actually taking. Also, what I really like about the new Final Cut Pro 10 is that like iMovie, widescreen is now pretty much a standard for all types of video. This wasn't really so much true before in the older versions of Final Cut Pro and Final Cut Express, where you actually had to set the setting in order to go widescreen, and I always hated this because every single one of my projects would end up being widescreen, but Final Cut Pro or Final Cut Express would never actually recognize them as widescreen to begin with. I would always have to use the preset of widescreen in order to get it. And now it's a really big relief to have everything native to widescreen in this HD world that we're living in, including the video that I'm taking right now. Now to move on to the bad about Final Cut Pro 10, and there's really only one bad thing that I feel is bad about Final Cut Pro, and it's a temporary thing, so it's not like anything serious. The main thing I find troubling with Final Cut Pro 10 is that if you are used to the older versions of Final Cut Pro or Final Cut Express, then it really takes a lot more effort to relearn everything, but it's a very minor thing. For me though, it's a little bit big because ever since October of 2010, I was actually using Final Cut Express ever since I upgraded from iMovie 09, I believe. And from then, I used it for all my projects, and the UI, it really wasn't that good, but it definitely gave me a lot of features that I really wanted and really needed in all of my new videos. And it really was a big help for when I had editing, but I just hated rendering, I hated the UI. There was a lot of stuff I really didn't like about it, but Final Cut Pro 10, it really clears it all up, and I'm learning it all as I go, and you know, that's really the one downside that I see, and it's not really a downside at all. Okay, now on to the haters of Final Cut Pro 10. Some of you guys I can actually understand. First of all, the ones complaining about multi-camera support and XML importing, I believe it was called. Some of you who are the very, very high professional users actually do have a bit of a point when it's actually not included. However, you do have to understand this is a brand new software that Apple has fully created from the ground up. And you also have to understand that a lot of people weren't really using those in the first place except for the really high professionals that they're all complaining about it now. And the best part is that something that I left out in the beginning is that it is now $300 instead of the typical $1,000 that you would typically pay for a really high professional use software that we can now get way cheaper than before. And it just makes that world of ours much easier for video editing, and it makes it way more suitable for all of us to do higher level stuff. And for all the people complaining, it really doesn't make any sense. Especially the ones complaining that it doesn't have what Final Cut Pro 7 had. Because for those of you who are complaining about it not having features that Final Cut Pro 7 has, you still have Final Cut Pro 7. That's what you have to remember. It's not going anywhere. Apple stopped supporting it, but that doesn't mean the application is going to delete from your Mac. You still have it, and if you still want to use it and not use Final Cut Pro 10 like the rest of us, then fine, you can use it. It's not a problem. Okay, so anyway guys, pretty much to wrap up this extended video that I've pretty much gone pretty in-depth to, is that my thoughts on the new Final Cut Pro 10 is that it is an amazing software that has a brand new price of $300 for extremely professional video editing software. I truly love it. If there's anyone out there who's looking to get a serious upgrade from their iMovie software on a Mac and is really serious about video editing, then this is definitely the software for you, and I really recommend it. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more tech content like this. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/thedragonrider. Be sure to check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/dragonridernetwork. And be sure to check out the website for tech news, tech stories, the blog, videos like this, and way more at dragonridernetwork.com. So anyway guys, I will catch you guys at the next video. Talk to you then.